After the success of the home kit review where the video was initially blocked by the Premier League, and then after re-uploading being told that I have a horrific taste by everyone in the comments, it's time to do it all again with the away kits. Just without the blocking from the Premier League, that wasn't a fun time. But anyway, same routine as last time, every Premier League club's new away kit rated out of 10. As always, we'll start with Arsenal, who I thought had a brilliant away kit until I realised the one I really liked was actually the third shirt, but never mind. Their away shirt is actually peacock navy rather than the turquoise third kit, and it's a fairly nice shirt if I'm being honest, and it's definitely made by Puma, not Nike like I said last time. There's a very faint and faded thick red zigzag across the chest, which I think would look a lot better if it wasn't so faint basically. So it's a 7 out of 10 for Arsenal's away shirt. Next up we've got Bournemouth, who have a simple but pretty nice shirt, and one that looks very suited to the summer, so Nathan Ake and co will probably look a bit daft when it's pissing down with rain and they've got to wear it against Manchester United. If it was just a white shirt then I'd give it a pretty low grade, but the orange cuffs save it, a tiny detail that enhances the Cherries away kit. Combined with navy shorts, it's not a bad little away shirt, and certainly better than the toothpaste coloured third kit. Bournemouth get a 7.5 out of 10. Over to Brighton now, who have a very plain away kit, and I imagine I'll get accused of double standards somewhere down the line here, but despite its simplicity, I really like this from the Seagulls, who like last season have a great selection of kits. This year's away kit is just plain green with a little button up on the neck and a tiny white strip, so nothing too special, but the deep shade of green is just quite a nice colour to me, so I think this is a nice kit, but I won't grade it too highly as it's a little bit too simple. Brighton's away kit gets a 7 out of 10. Just like Burnley on a cloudy day, their away kit is pretty morbid with a combination of black and grey, epitomising Sean Dyche's workmanlike approach to the game of football. The kit just screams Burnley, even with the very strange grey honeycombs starting at the bottom, or hexagons if you want to give them the technical name. While pretty uninspiring, the away shirt is very Burnley, which can either be a good thing or a bad thing. I suppose it looked daft strutting around in a luminous yellow kit. Disappointing on the whole though, so it's a 5 out of 10 for Burnley. Just like the home shirt, Cardiff's away jersey is nothing to write home about. A neat and tidy Adidas kit, this isn't going to upset people but isn't going to get the hipsters queuing outside of JD Sports or wherever people go to buy football shirts nowadays. A simple white design with what looks like a little faint grey stripes, accompanied with blue trim, stripes and sponsors. It's pretty basic, which isn't a bad thing, but since it is a bit bland, we're going to give it nothing more than a 6 out of 10, which is exactly what the home kit got. Now this is where I'll sound like a hypocrite, because for all its simplicity, I really like Chelsea's bright yellow away kit, despite it being nothing too elaborate and over the top. Maybe because it's a bit more of a vibrant colour it looks better, it's more of a typical away shirt, something totally opposite to the home one. I was going to give this an 8, but I think I need to take it down slightly, otherwise I'm just contradicting myself, because I said Cardiff's kit was too simple. So Maurizio Sarri's new away jersey gets a 7.5 out of 10. Next we've got Crystal Palace, and while I hate their home kit, the away top was one of the best in the Premier League. White with a typically Palace red and blue sash, the kit throws back to a season from 40 years ago where the Eagles won the old second division. So not only is it a nice kit, it's historical too, which is a perfect combination. Palace might not look as hot at Selhurst Park, but on the road they'll certainly be turning heads. I'm going to give Palace's away kit an 8.5 out of 10. From a great kit to a poor one, Everton's away shirt is doing absolutely nothing for me. Like, I don't understand where the pink comes from. It just looks a little bit garish. And this isn't a whole not liking it because it's pink and being a bloody bloke who won't wear pink like a girl. It just looks odd, with black arms and a grey chest, which doesn't go with the bright pink at all. Unfortunately for the Toffees, it's a 4 out of 10, our lowest grade so far. Next up it's newly promoted Fulham, who have exactly the same template as Cardiff's away kit, but it just looks slightly better. I think the main difference is the sponsor, which is in gold as opposed to the white Adidas stripes on the sleeve. Fulham's away kit is a shiny cool navy colour with the usual little stripes that also appear on the Cardiff away kit to basically ensure it's not just a flat colour, but yeah, it looks decent but nothing too exciting. Since it's similar to Cardiff but just a little bit better, we're going to give Fulham a 6.5 out of 10 for their away kit. Huddersfield's home kit is one of my favourites this season, and their away kit is okay, even if it is just a blatant rip-off of Bournemouth's home kit, only slightly worse. Made by Umbro just like the Cherries kit, the Terriers have taken the red and black stripes done by Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, but removed the neat little bit of gold on the collar which actually increased the rating of Bournemouth's home shirt. So this is basically just a worse version of Bournemouth's home shirt, so we're going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Leicester also have one of the best home kits for me, but their away kit is one of the worst. And to make matters even worse again, they've got a really nice third kit, which makes you wonder why they didn't just use that rather than the cheeky little grey number that is not the prettiest around. And not cheeky at all, don't know why I said that. Described as skyscraper grey, whatever that means, the Adidas logo, stripes and Leicester badge are in a sort of orange and gold colour, in a kit that has a bit of an eyesore and is the worst away kit in the Premier League this season. It's a 3 out of 10 for the Foxes. Up next we've got another bad away shirt, and this time it's Liverpool, who do not look pretty in purple, looking more reminiscent of Barney the Dinosaur, if any of you are old enough to remember him. A bit like Leicester's kit, it's a bit of orange that spoilt this shirt. Like, I think I would like it a lot more if all the trimmings were just a simple white, rather than the bright orange which looks even more horrendous slapped on top of the deep shade of purple that Mo Salah and co will have to run around in. Orange saved Bournemouth's away shirt, but it's done nothing to help Liverpool, but at least they've got a nice third kit I suppose, just like Leicester. Liverpool's away kit gets a 4 out of 10. Off to the champions Manchester City now, whose away kit is much more appealing than their bland home kit, using a dark blue colour with 3 pinstripes on the chest, 2 light blue ones and then an luminous yellow one right down the middle. The kit is slightly based on the 1999 away kit which City wore when they beat Gillingham in the playoff final, in a shirt that is even nicer than this year's. The old ones are the best, aren't they? But yeah, the 3 colours from that shirt have been used to create an updated and cool looking away kit for Pep Guardiola's champions. We're going to give Man City a 9 out of 10 for their away shirt. Next up we've got Manchester United, and this is where we hit problems, as the Red Devils are yet to release their away kit this year, which is a little bit weird considering it started weeks ago. There have been rumours all summer about a pink away kit which are probably true, but the shade of pink has got lighter throughout the summer. Initially it was a pale pink just like a Palermo kit, which is really nice for all its simplicity, but now it's a very pale pink, almost white, which is less exciting. So based on that, we'll give them a 7 out of 10. Of course we'll look stupid when this isn't the away kit, but what are you going to do? Now it's the turn of Newcastle United, who have the best away kit in the Premier League this season, hands down. Maroon and navy hoops are not new for Newcastle. This isn't a brand new innovative kit, it's a remake of the 1995 away kit from the Entertainers days, which was ever so slightly better than this year's because it had a cool sponsor in Newcastle Brown Ale, rather than Funny 88 betting. However, the sponsors and badges being done in gold looks cool, and it's Newcastle's best kit since God knows when. It's getting a big fat 9.5 out of 10, which is the highest mark I've awarded this season. Not that any of you care, you all probably think it's terrible and would give it a 1. Down we go to Southampton, whose away shirt is much nicer than the home one, which is a kit I couldn't quite make my mind up about. But I'm certain that the Southampton away one is nice, using a colour scheme that the club made famous, wearing yellow as they won the 1976 FA Cup final against Manchester United. The Saints have used a yellow and blue away shirt various times since then, but have never been able to win the trophy since, reaching the 2003 final with the same colour scheme. The only sad thing about this kit is the horrible Under Armour collar, but they'll not care too much if it helps them in their FA Cup quest. Southampton's away shirt gets an 8 out of 10. Next up we've got Tottenham, who have all new kits for their brand new stadium, with the only issue being that the stadium isn't ready. Not that they'd be using the away kit in their new stadium anyway, this was a little bit of a stupid thing to say. But anyway, I do quite like Spurs' away shirt after being disappointed with their home one. It's the same design as Manchester City's home shirt, the typical Nike template, but the different colours on the sleeve take it away from boring territory. The lighter blue colours look really cool, and they've used them again on the shorts to good effect. It's a 7 out of 10 for Tottenham. Watford followed their great home shirt with a cracking away number, albeit slightly not as good as the home one. It's like a mint green with a few different shades of tiny stripes, as we've seen throughout Adidas away shirts, and the almost Kermit the Frog-like green Adidas stripes are lovely. It's bright and it's in your face, which is kind of what I want from an away shirt, which is why I like this and don't feel anything for Burnley's black away shirt. We're going to give the Hornets an 8 out of 10. Next up is West Ham United, whose away shirt is teal apparently. Teal. If there's one thing I've learned from this, it's the colour teal, and it's a very nice colour. West Ham's expensive new signings deserve a nice neat away kit, and that's exactly what they've got. It's teal all over, with West Ham's usual claret appearing on the collar and sleeve, with the logos cast in gold, no doubt a nod to all the future trophies that the Hammers are going to win. I mean that's not true, but it's a lovely away kit, so it's a 7.5 out of 10. And finally we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers, whose away kit is really boring, just like the home shirt. White and black, nothing else to talk about. Let's just end this here. It's a 4 out of 10 for Wolves. It's just as bad as the home shirt, which again was really boring. It's a good job they play nice football though, isn't it? So those are the away kits rated, with Newcastle coming out on top. Is it time to do the third kits now? Let us know in the comments below. So that's every Premier League club's away kit rated. Let us know your ratings in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.